Hello. So hopefully what we have here is kind of a basic Facehugger clock sync patch. What I've attempted to do is keep the patch minimal. So what I have is I'll run through the whole patch and then we can just sort of listen to it, and then we'll go through a couple of things that we can do with it. And this is sort of my patch 2 for the Facehugger clock sync. This should probably be patch 1. I think it's kind of more what it's sort of intended for. So we'll start with what it's intended for, and then go from there. What this has patched is I've got, and this is not necessary for the basic patch, so I can just take that out for a second. I've got a square wave from the Infernal Noise Machine expander, which is set to expander, so it's got its own rate there, which you can see is controlling the rate of the Facehugger. That square wave out is going to clock in on the clock sync, and then I've got the ramp out from the clock sync going to the external in on the Facehugger. So the height of the Facehugger will follow the height of the ramp wave. So higher ramp is over here. So if we slow that down, you can see it stepping through it. And if I turn up the Infernal Noise Machine, I've got the out from the Facehugger, so it's like a CV out, going to the CV in, or the 1 volt per octave, I think, CV in, on the Infernal Noise Machine. So we can just hear, it'll control the pitch. Obviously, it sounds insane because it's the Infernal Noise Machine, so okay, so I'll turn that back down. And what I had patched in before, and I'll patch back in, is the ramp out from the expander. So if I turn the CV down, I've got that all the way up at the moment, and just turn this back up and turn up the CV, I've got that up on here. You can hear that the ramp is sort of stepping through, or controlling the rate of the filters on the Infernal Noise Machine rising. So if we do those together, so I'll turn the CV back up. So you can hear that sort of on each rising ramp, we've got the pitch changing. And I can change, obviously, the speed of that, so, But then with the Facehugger clock sync, what we can do is sort of change the divisions of that. So this primary sort of clock division here will change how many ramps it takes to step once in the Facehugger. So if I just slow that down again for a second. You can hear that for every 2 of the ramps over here, we get 1 step along here. So we can do that as many times as we like, basically. So now we've got 4 ramps for every... Sorry, it's still warming up, so it's sounded a little crazy there as well. You can hear that for every 4 ramps, we get 1 step up. And now I'll make it a bit faster, so it sounds a little bit more tolerable. So we've gone kind of right down. But what that means is that I can now get sort of a sequence rate here and sort of an audio rate controlling over there, and it sounds pretty cool. I can turn that down a little bit. So. Great. So now we've got another knob up here, which is the number of steps that we go through. I'm just going to sort of reset this back to our basic patch that we had going on. I'll go back to the just 1-to-1 division. So we can step down the number of steps it will actually go through. And you'll notice as I do that the number of steps on the Facehugger, it's not sort of just only doing the first, 6 steps. It's doing 6 steps, and it's sort of dividing those kind of equally across the range of the Facehugger. If I go down to 6 steps on here, it's hitting those 6 steps. But what's more interesting to me is this. So there, it's splitting 6 steps across the full range of it. So if we go down to, say, whatever that is, 5, 4. And then we can change where those are going to hit, and therefore what the sequence is. So I'm able to, without sort of changing anything except for the number of steps on the Facehugger or on the sync module, to get to some fairly interesting sort of patterns. That all remain related to the signal that's going on over here, going to the ramp, the ramp that's going to the filter cutoff. So I think that's interesting. I mean, we could, instead of the filter cutoff, have this ramp be going to the VCA and sort of opening it. I mean, it's kind of essentially a bit of the same, but yeah, I think this is interesting, particularly the number of steps thing. Now, what we can do, and confused me when I first plugged this in, so the 3 different modes on the Facehugger here respond to an incoming ramp signal differently. I'll just set this, so 8, and I've got back to 1 here, so everything's pretty chill. But you can see here, I've only got essentially half of the Facehugger being fired now. And why that is because this mode will respond to a bipolar signal. So it will go up on this side, down on the other side. So don't be fooled. Things aren't broken. They're just different. We can still sort of move this now, if you see, across the range of the Facehugger. So this is another interesting way to shift around a sequence. I've clearly done something weird, but oh right, because this also changes the bass offset. another really interesting way to shift around a sequence. So coming across some different ideas. And what I had to do there, and what confused me, again, this module just all out, it's confusing. In the way that I think is can be positive or can be as mentioned when I first stumbled across this, I was like, what the hell is going on? But I enjoy those like what the hell is going on sort of things and figuring that out. So figuring something out then leads you to something else, like, oh, actually I can use this to shift around the start or the notes that are being triggered in my sequence. And you'll see that I'm only getting sort of a few notes there. I'm not getting sort of the full range. I mean, I can step sort of the spacing of it, but like it's interesting. It's condensing that in a way that I think is really fascinating when I change the number of steps. So really interesting. So you can find sort of a lot of different, Flight call this an arpeggiator or arpeggio making machine. And basically you're able to do that in really interesting ways with the with moving the clock sync around. And we've got another mode that we can shift to here. So this one is now, again, stepping through it, we'll say normally, or in a way that makes sense to my brain fairly immediately. But we're able to obviously shift through those immediately. But I think this one does have like an offset to it as well. So. So you can see that the moving between the different modes on it gives you a lot of different sort of performance options, and with the clock sync, the number of steps and everything like that, you get these sort of really interesting ways to create different sequences. Yeah, so that's that basic patch. Thinking about this one and the way that works, I was like, well, is there a way to do it the other way? So so this one, my ramp is always going to be at a faster rate than the sequence is. What if I want a ramp that goes over a couple of sequences? So I'm going to I think I've thought of a way, so I'm going to throw that together, and then we'll see if that works, and we'll make another video if it does.